Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our podcast series, the Spotlight Sessions here at High Level. In these sessions, we showcase the top leaders in sales and marketing. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to Jody Milward, the founder of Social Charlie. And Jody and her team equip women with in-demand skills to provide results-driven Facebook and Instagram marketing services to their clients and to attract new clients during that process. Jody and I have been back and forth, and we were trying to find the best way that we could engage with our audience and share something different that will help them grow their business. And we've put together an episode around the path from mom to mompreneur. And this story resonates with Jody because she's lived it, and she works with many women that are living it and are evolving into that mom to mompreneur status. So we put together some talking points. It's only right. First talking point we put together was turning the initial interest of selling a service offering into a subscription. How do we go ahead and take that idea of selling and helping others and make it into a monthly recurring subscription? The next one is processes and systems to simplify that, whether you're brand new at this or you're looking to optimize and grow your existing offering. And lastly is being in control of your lifestyle. How do you know when you're on the right path? How do you know when you need to pivot? And Jody, it's great to have you here. And I know that, you're on a different time zone, and I appreciate you jumping on very early here. For those in our audience who might not know you yet, could you share a little bit about you and your journey?
Hey, thanks, John. First of all, thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to share my story and hopefully inspire some other women around the world to dive into this crazy digital marketing world and to do it in a smart and strategic way. So I've been working from home since about 2004. I had 3 little kids who are now adults, and it was the need to be able to do something that I could do working from home. So first of all, I thought I just need to work school hours with the kids. So I thought I'll become a teacher's aide. I'd go off and do the study. And very quickly realized when I was surrounded by 50, that's 50, screaming 5-year-olds, that was not the gig for me. So I was like, what can I do working from home? And I became a private investigator, obvious choice. I was tracking down people, getting money back to them. So it was a Robin Hood kind of scenario. And the government didn't like that too much because I got millions of dollars off the government and back to who it belonged to. So it was time to change. And it was like, I can do something, online. What is these businesses that I could do online? And that's when I found Facebook. I knew of Facebook, but I got the realization that, hey, any business can market themselves on Facebook. And while I don't particularly have a business, I can provide a service that's going to help other businesses. So doing their social media. And I started doing some organic stuff, but then very quickly got into paid ads. So over the years, that's what I've done, running ads for other businesses and been able to provide a very valuable service. Now, with that, with ad management, one of the good things about that is that it's not generally a one and done kind of thing. Businesses need ongoing marketing. So rather than just having a course or a program, which is what I started out wanting to do, right? It's like, oh, I want to have a course and have all this passive income. Well, you need to do a lot of work to sell course after course after course. So that's where providing a service was such a, caused such a difference to my business trajectory. And then also, when you're running Facebook ads for businesses, you'll often talk to business owners who need a new website, who have got hodgepodge systems for their website or their CRM, or it's a hot mess. And so that's where that service can be added in with a subscription by using the right sort of tool. So even if you've worked with a client, might be 3 months, might be 3 years, you have still been able to, maybe get them on the tools to be able to support them with their business. So using a tool like High Level, for example, very easy to get a client onto so that even if you do part ways, you can still have some recurring revenue that can come in from that, which at the end of the day is what we're wanting, right? We don't want to be hustling day after day for sale after sale. We want to have monthly recurring revenue, and we've got the ability with our online tools to be able to have that monthly recurring online without having to actually provide an actual service. So that's in a nutshell, been my journey as I transition to running Facebook ads for clients, and with Facebook ads as well. Funnels are a natural part of it as well, because you could drive traffic to something all day, and if it doesn't convert, it's no good. So having that knowledge and expertise of funnels, again, leans into the tools that we have right at our fingertips, which is just so mind-blowing these days. Like when I started off like years and years ago, tools and resources cost so much. Like working with, I worked with national restaurant franchise here in Australia, and the amount of money that they would spend just on a social media platform, like it was $60,000 for the year. And it's like, well, we've got a much better offer here for you, save you a ton of money, and provide you even more than just being able to post on social media. So the tools that we have at our fingertips, the opportunities that we have here now, is just amazing. And it really does open the door for anybody. And I'm talking to mums here, for you to be able to get started. Yes, there is a big learning curve, but you can do it. You just chip away a bit at a time. And that's what I love. You can earn and learn at the same time in this niche.
So powerful. And, you had, first off, I know you do a lot of traveling. Where part of in the world are you stationed at the moment, or have you been for a while?
I live here in Caloundra in Queensland. So if you're familiar with Steve Irwin, Bindi Irwin, Crocodile Hunter Australia Zoo, I'm just 15 minutes away from Australia Zoo here in Australia. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And most of your journey working with clients, has it been isolated to Australia, or you have expanded over the years?
No, I've had predominantly an American base of clients, which has been fantastic for the currency conversions, right? So it's great when it's coming over. It hurts a bit when it's Australian to US. But one of my big clients, like I got on Upwork like right back in the day, and I know a lot of people will diss Upwork. So Upwork is a platform that people go to, like savvy business owners who are looking for a lot of digital sort of support. And where you as a freelancer can get on Upwork. And I actually talk to my new ad managers and go to Upwork, get a couple of clients on board there. And so while, yes, there are people who are wanting to pay $10 an hour, there are also others that are wanting to pay $75 an hour for someone who is more expert level and more than 75. So that's a great place to go and get started. Now,
And so,
so I was on Upwork. Sorry, yep.
yeah, no, go ahead, go ahead. Please finish.
Well, so I got on Upwork, I got a few gigs there, some that were $500 for some webinars. And then I got a client on board, which was for full-time sort of ad and funnels. And, that client was over $200,000 worth of a gig. So over a couple of years. So I worked with them full-time, and they were in Canada. So I was here in Australia, they're in Canada. So a lot of my clients have been USA. And that's what I'll tell a lot of ladies who are starting out on this journey. Even if they do have a 9 to 5 and they're wanting to transition, you can work with clients on the other side of the world so that you can touch base with them before you have to go off to work and it's their afternoon, like it is here for us. Now it's my early morning, it's your afternoon. And, so there's not the restrictions on having to work in a single location. So yeah, that's another one of the advantages of doing something online.
Yeah, and before we got in there, you were mentioning about your client, the national restaurant chain, and how because they were a national restaurant chain, these services, these programs that are out there charge them enterprise level pricing.
Yeah.
And sometimes they give them mediocre entry level results. And I guess, how did you find that client? Was that also on Upwork, or was that through a referral?
Yeah, that was through a referral. So someone who had bought one of my Facebook ad training programs,
Hmm.
her husband was actually working with this company as they're sort of, helping out with their operations.
Hmm.
So she actually made that introduction. So you just don't know who is out there, who you can connect with, who is watching. It can be such a small world sometimes.
Absolutely. And you beat me to it because, sometimes when someone is looking to expand their reach, expand their knowledge, expand maybe what they offer to the universe, they think of so many ways of why they shouldn't. And I want to touch a little bit about your personal journey because you went from school mom, stay-at-home mom, to working within the school system, to then becoming a private investigator, and then like how did you even find out about like did you join a group? Were you just seeing chatter about it? Like
Oh, look, that's why I say I'm an accidental entrepreneur, right? It was just
yeah.
like I needed to find something that was going to be flexible to with my family. So back in those days, I went into the newsagent and bought a magazine that was all about his small business opportunities, and that's how I got started with the private investigator stuff. And then from there, it just sort of evolved. As I sort of got on Facebook and I was starting to promote my own sort of money recovery stuff on Facebook. And I started to go, look at this. This is an option. And then from there, like it wasn't just a smooth straight into Facebook. I had a business with a couple of friends who was like, okay, let's do a weight loss product. And so we were able to white label a product. We could outsource it. We put it into, somewhere to ship it, etc. So there were so many opportunities. And again, you can find them more so than ever. But this is where being the service provider was just kind of more of a natural progression, because I didn't need to, we followed up with the weight loss stuff because I was like, I don't want to keep doing this. That's when I fell into Facebook, and it was like, I want to follow, the Facebook marketing. Because as a service provider, it's like you don't need to worry about stock. You don't need to worry about, having it shipped. You don't need to have that sort of capital investment. You just need to invest in yourself with either time and learning the skills. And yes, that often requires investment into a product or a training to help you, understand things and get there faster. And then also some tools, which really don't cost the earth. So it's that low point of entry to be able to just get in, start learning, start earning.
And the fascinating part here is that you went through the journey of trying to position products, position services, placing yourself in someone else's business model, and then something sounds like it just clicked where you said, I could do this for myself and help others do it. And I think the biggest point I want to make across that we're about to jump into is that as a mom, you went through this journey already. Someone can fast track their journey by listening to your story, maybe grabbing a piece or two and then taking action on it after this episode. So when we get into now, you found that you're better off teaching and helping others to promote their products that they're associated with. How did you go about educating yourself and really honing in on the way to do it and the best practices and maybe some of the tips and tricks? Where did you lean, or who did you lean upon on?
Yeah, so various resources, like it would have been just buying program after program to sort of dive in and learn. So that sort of got me started to a point. Then I got client work, and I was able to invest a bit more back. And so when it got to the point where I got my first $1,000 a day ad spend, it was like, okay, I just need a bit of extra backup. And this was Andrea Val. She, we're friends now from when I reached out to her at that time. I said, and I bought 4 sessions with her to okay, just help me to make sure I'm on the right track with what I'm doing here. And that was an excellent investment to just know that, okay, I've got this all on board and I'm doing the right thing by my client. And everything was all good there. So it has been a lot of investment over the years. So while you don't have to go off and spend $60,000 or whatever, getting a college education and all the rest, and then hoping to get a job of it at the end, like I've said, you can earn and learn with this. You can get in, and then you can invest in, okay, what do I need to learn? What do I need to get started? Right. What's the next phase and what's the next phase? Because we're always going to be learning. We're always got to be growing, right? There's always got to be something new. And even if it's not just a part of learning, for members who are in my community, a lot of them are there just to get the support of other ad managers, so that there is a place that they can go and say, oh, hey, I've had this happen on this account. Does anyone know what's happened here? My client has said X, Y, Z. How should I respond? So it's having that group that have your back is an important part of this journey as well. So investing in your education, having some sort of mentorship, and having a community that you can be around, because a lot of us are here working from home. And with that, imposter syndrome can really kick in. And I talk to ad managers all the time who feel this imposter syndrome. They'll be doing great. They'll get great results for their clients, but they still just feel like they're winging it. And that was my story as well. After spending like, the thousands of dollars a day, I still feel like, oh man, I'm just winging it. They're going to find out I'm a fake. And I'd remind my ad managers that imposter syndrome is actually, research has shown that it's often experienced by high achieving women. So if you're a woman and you're feeling imposter syndrome, the irony is chances are you're not an imposter at all. You've got the runs on the board. So it's being able to be in a community where people have your back, where they know those, those mental struggles, because while you may learn how to run Facebook ads or digital marketing or whatever it is, it's not so much the skill set, it's the mindset that we really need to be working on that's going to help us achieve those goals that we have for our business and our lives.
Absolutely. And to what you have mentioned, years ago up to now, there is a different sense of community. There are many more communities. There are people that are more transparent about what they do, how they do it. They want to help others because they've received that help at some point. So they are giving around those topics. When it comes to somebody that wants to let's say somebody is really organized, they're really very detailed about how they do things, they manage things. Maybe they're a great project manager. In your experience, somebody that wants to get into offering social media marketing services or local services for businesses, if they have that project management expertise, how valuable are they to the industry?
That is gold. Project management, being organized, it will certainly help you in your journey. Doesn't mean you have to have it. There are things that you can learn. There are systems that you can put in place, and it's just that matter of you need to follow it. But if you do have that natural A-type gift of being able to go X, Y, Z, and here's my structure and here's my routine, that's awesome. That's really going to help you to just, here's my day. And being able to do that as well is really going to help you with your time efficiency, because otherwise working from home, you could get distracted. You could go, I'm just going to go off and load the dishwasher. I've just got to put the laundry out, right? If you have that plan and that structure in place and you can follow it, then it's like, okay, I'm here. This is my work hours. I'm getting this done. So that at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, you have knocked off for the day, rather than I've been a bit distracted around the place. And so, oh, gee, it's 8 o'clock now. I better load up those campaigns. So it's advantageous to have it. You don't need it. If you also do want to have that flexibility to be able to load campaigns at 8 o'clock at night, you can totally do that as well. And that's one of the great things with this. Like if you want to work weekends, if you don't mind working weekends, if your husband's a shift worker, mine's a shift worker, so he's here and there all over the place. So you can work weekends if you want to, if that's what your lifestyle allows. So ultimately it comes back to that flexibility of you can choose what hours you want to work and work them.
And where I was thinking about also was, if you're good at the project management, the follow-up, you really enjoy that process, teaming up with somebody who may be more interested in the techie, the implementation, the creatives, the design. In your career, what has been your observation with people teaming up with each other and bringing maybe the ad creative side and the project management together into a partnership?
That is a great question, because it's something I see all the time. As I've been in various programs as a student, and now as I am, teaching ad managers, I've seen it all the time in the groups where people will come in and then they'll just find someone that they connect with and they go off and they, end up working together. Whether it is someone who does do the sales calls, someone who is managing the tech and the ads, that is quite often the case. And I've done that with myself, with, people that I've met with. And, I've got some amazing friends now who we have worked together on client accounts over the years. So that is great, because like in this digital space, and you touched on it there are so many different sort of skill sets. There could be copywriting, it could be the creative, it could be the sales, it could be the technical aspect. There are so many areas, and it's my unicorn there, because I refer to my people as digital unicorns, because they often cover all of these things. And I teach them all of these things because that is an essential component of Facebook ads and funnels and getting things to convert. So I do equip them with, resources to help them. And AI, of course, has helped that so much more, that you can go in and you can get some copy through AI, etc. But partnerships, finding those other people, yes, happens all the time. And I love to see it when it does, because we all tend to have our own strengths that we may default to. And so if you do have a strength with follow-up, with communication, you love talking to people. And a lot of us ad managers can actually be a bit more introverted, right? We sort of want to be behind the screen. We're happy not to talk to people. We just want to load campaigns. So there's those guys as well. So when you can find someone who loves to be out there and talking to people and do the follow-up, then maybe not so keen on doing the technical work, perfect. It's like the E-Myth, right? Where you'll have your manager, your technician, and your, what's the other one? Is it the operations? There's those three sort of personality types. So yeah, finding someone who you can partner with is just, it happens all the time. And it's a special thing, it's a really special thing, because it can be lonely in this sort of, working from home. So when you've got someone working with you, it's great.
Absolutely. And I know, at the end of the episode, we're going to leave some information on some information that you're generous to share around, where to go to get started, what things to look out for, and what resources and communities you have available to exchange and meet others. But let's pivot here a bit into turning this thought of establishing a business, a service to help others grow their business, right? We gave some context around the why, the exciting, the advantages, but let's talk more about the implementation, right? So let's just say, for example, one of our audience members is ready to get back into the workforce. Kids are pretty self-sufficient now. Things are kind of aligned in order. And now it's like, I saw this episode and now I want to explore my potential. What should she do to start that potential search?
Yeah, another great question, because sometimes you'll hear the advice that'll say, follow your passion, do something you love, which is great. However, like I said earlier, if that's going to be creating an online course, there's a lot of work to create an online course and to sell it every day, right? So, and that's where providing a service, I believe, is one of the fastest ways you can start making money online. Then, like for myself, it was like I got started, I created a course, Facebook ad foundations for business or something. And it was all just, this is how you set up a Facebook page and all the very, very basic stuff. But I don't know how many of those I sold. It wasn't actually too many. I fell more into like being the service provider, because that had that monthly stability, which when we've got little kids, when we've got family, when we've got obligations, we need to have that monthly recurring revenue as a stability, right? So providing a service is a great way to do that. And with business owners, that's where it's like, it's a service that they need month after month after month. They need someone to do their marketing, to do their Facebook ads. They have a website. Well, the tools that they have for a website, they need to pay for those things month after month after month. So there's that ongoing sort of potential for revenue for you. And then from that, if you do have, oh, gee, I do really like making cookies, and people tell me I'm really great at making cookies, and so I should have a course about it. Well, if you are able to earn and learn by running Facebook ads, building funnels, then you've got more of an understanding of like, okay, I know what actually needs to go in now. I understand what having good copywriting is like on a sales page and how to drive traffic to it. Then, create that passion project of, your cookie program. And then you know how to run traffic to it, you know how to build funnels. It takes a lot of the pressure off of like, oh, I need to get, 10 sales a day to be able to replace my income for the month, right? Whereas when you provide a service like Facebook ads and funnel building, all that kind of stuff, you can be charging $2,000 a month, $3,000, $5,000 a month for that service. And so you know that that base revenue is coming in. So therefore you can, work on that fun sort of passion project. So getting started, it's like, okay, how can I learn? Where can I go? What do I need to know about Facebook ads? And be prepared, right? It is a learning curve. There is a lot to this kind of thing. Just like if you were going off to college, I'd say treat it the same, give it the same level of respect. Even though you are not having to put in $60,000 to learn, the income potential that this can create for you can far surpass, coming out at the other end and getting a $50,000 a year job, right? It can be, the sky's the limit. You can get team members on board who can also run the ads so that you can have $10,000, $20,000, $100,000 months, because you have taken that time to learn some skills and grow a business. Now, this is always where I say this kind of thing is not going to happen in 90 days. So have those realistic expectations of like, it takes time to learn. So just like you go off to college, semester 1, 2, and 3, you're learning these things, same sort of thing. Even though you could get your first client on board, in the first 30 days, and you go, great. And then you can get another client on board. So it's all up to you as to how fast you want to grow, but be realistic with it, because, once you do put in the time, once you do put in the effort, then the sky's the limit, really.
So let's say, for example, somebody, the listener is going on YouTube, they're typing in YouTube, social media ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, doing ads for businesses, and they're binging this. They're binging all this information. They come across some of your information, and now they feel confident that they know enough to tell a compelling story and have an offer for some local businesses in their area. Let's say they're in the PTA, let's say they're part of the sports committee, and there are some others that are in there that own businesses. So mom starts sharing, hey, I just started this new thing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Word gets out, right? And now they start approaching mom and say, my husband has a bagel shop, or my husband has this, I have this, how could you help me? From that point on, how, from just a bird's eye view, how do they go about now fulfilling and implementing? Could you give us a sneak peek on maybe how you go about that software system process, just so they can picture it a bit?
Absolutely. And you said that magic word there, system, right? We want to have a system because we don't want to have someone coming to us and then we've got to go, oh, quick, where's that link? I've got to give you this link. And oh, here, do all this manual kind of stuff that takes up so much time. So having that system. And so for an ad manager, for a service provider, our system is being able to get somebody onto our booking calendar. Like either we give them a link or we go, what time would you like? And then you just pop that in. Like, yes, you can give them the URL. Here's my website. Go over and book a time. I really like to talk to people to say, okay, I've got these 2 times available. Which one suits you, so that you're still sort of in control. You haven't just given them a URL and you're hoping that they're going to come back and book, right? So you give them a couple of times and then you put it in the calendar. And then from there, you've got those magic automations. We love automations that will be following up saying, hey, congratulations, you're booked in here. Here's a bit of what to expect. Get them excited for the call. And those emails are those automations and SMS that's saying, hey, you're booked in. The reminders, they turn up for the call. So you can have those systems. While it might sound, holy cow, that's a lot. It is a bit to set up initially. But once it's set up, it just keeps going. It's just magic. It's one of the best things. So people can book in, they get the reminder emails, they get on a call, you talk to them about the service, you decide, yes, I can help you with this. This is the investment. They say, great. Then again, you've got a link or you've clicked on it beforehand. You can just put in their payment details. Another system with that, which I tell ad managers all the time, is to get people on monthly billing, automated billing. So you don't have to go, oh, it's the first of the month, I've got to create my invoice and I've got to send it out. Get them on monthly recurring billing so that each month they're automatically charged. You don't have to do any more chasing around for that. And this is the key when you're not scaling and having 7 sales calls a day and you've got a sales team and everything's happening day after day and you'll onboard like 6 or 8 clients a month. If you're just a freelancer and you're starting out as a freelancer, you'll probably sign up maybe 2 clients a month, right? You might even have your books full for a while. So that's where systems come in really important for you, to have that system of like, here's my booking page, here's my calendar, all the emails are in place. This is the link for people to pay. And then it goes over into like an Asana tasks, that project management tool that'll say, bing, they've paid. Here's the tasks that now need to be completed. Because when you're only taking on maybe 2 clients a month, that is what you need in place so that when you do sign up someone and when someone does book a call, you're not going, where's that link again? What do I do now? So you got that process all set up. And then when you do something like that, Loom is a great little tool, LOOM, that you can just record a process of like, oh, great, this is what I've done. So that if you do have to come and check on something like a month later, you can just watch that. Or when you get a team member on board, like a virtual assistant to help, they can just watch this Loom and that can get handed over from you over to them very easily. So systems are great. It's going to take you off the day-to-day tasks that you don't really need to do so that you can focus more on maybe the creatives or talking to potential clients or being out networking.
So now, to what you had mentioned there briefly here was, knowing your process, practicing it, being prepared with the assumption that you're going to get new inquiries coming in. What's the next step? Just really having it written down, ready to go. When it comes to now taking these conversations that the mom is having with business owners, could you highlight a little bit around pricing? Like, is it best to present just one package? Do you do two or do you do three? And do they how does somebody just so they can do a little bit more further research about that for
Yeah,
your ad
absolutely.
managers?
Yeah. And this is where and I'll stand on my soapbox about this because there's a lot that will, become an ad manager to charge premium prices. And yes, you totally can. I've had ad managers come into my communities that were charging $1,500 per month per client that have gone on to charge $5,000 per month per client, plus a percentage of ad spend. So you can have clients that will pay you $1,000, $10,000 and more, right? The potential is there. But when you are starting out as an ad manager, if you get your first client on board and you're charging them $2,000, $2,500 a month, and then you go back to your little community and go, what do I do now? That's not ideal, right? So I'm always saying to ad managers, when you are starting out, start out with integrity and honesty. And so if you are, like you were talking about with your P&C community, and there's people there that are business owners, and you say, hey, I'm launching this Facebook ad service. I'm after a couple of case studies for my first clients, and I'm offering it for just, like it might be $1,000 a month. Or if it's going to be $1,000, offering it for just $500 for your first two clients for, say, 2 months, right? You have that time limit. They sign an agreement. You go through that system and that process that we were talking about. You get them on a booked call. You take a call. You get them to sign the paperwork. So it's all the same, and it's very clear what the deliverables will be and what the time frame is. And I say $500, and that is dirt cheap for ads. But for someone who is starting out with Facebook ads, my recommended path is, because there's so much to learn. There's pixels, there's conversions, there's, all the off Facebook stuff. The perfect place for someone to start learning Facebook ads is by running ads that are just on Facebook. And they are very valuable. And that's an ad type that every business needs. Like big businesses are just in the visibility campaigns, and you can run these campaigns for just from $1 a day and be retargeting people for 90 days. So if you're talking to businesses who are used to advertising on TV, radio, magazines, letterbox drops, etc., this ad strategy, this specific ad strategy that I teach, is perfect for them. And it's a fraction of the cost of any of those other methods. So that is the perfect place for you to dip your toes in and get familiar with the Facebook ad platform before you have to worry about, oh my gosh, I've signed up an e-commerce client, and, they've just launched a website, and we're doing these conversion campaigns, and we're spending $30 a day on them, and I haven't got a sale in 2 days. Right, that's a lot of stress for you as a new ad manager and for your clients as well. So getting in there, having a foot in the door strategy, I call it, where you can say, hey, I can help you get in front of 1,000 people a day for just $1 a day. They're going to go, wow, okay, great. And we can retarget them again and again and again. You can't do that with a billboard. Okay, great. So you get in and you work with them. And then you say, okay, and that could be $500, it could be $1,000. But that kind of strategy might only take you 4 to 6 hours per month. So even if you are charging $500 a month and it's taking you 4 hours a month to maintain, That's a pretty good, hourly rate if you're looking at it that way. You could easily have 4 clients on board like that, charge $1,000 a month, and that's $4,000. And it's like, that's a very good side hustle. So you have your foot in the door strategy, and then you work with that client. They go, wow, we love these results that you're getting for us. Yeah, great. This is working really well, XYZ. Would you like to incorporate lead generation campaigns in that as now? And that would just be an extra $1,500 per month, right? So instead of going out to someone going, here it is, here's $3,000 a month, they go, what? What's this $3,000 a month? You ease into it. You get your confidence, first of all, get a couple of case studies, increase your prices, get that foot in the door strategy going, work with these clients. They go, this is great. We love working with you. Offer your next level of service and go from there, right? So that's how I recommend that, ad managers who are just getting started get up to those, more premium prices.
Absolutely. And just to clarify, for someone that might be super new at this, that came across this by searching on YouTube, found it on a blog, just organically caught their attention. Um, you want to make sure that you're splitting the fees up. So it's your management fee, your expertise fee, and then the ad budget fee.
Exactly.
And there's different ways to go about it, but definitely you want to split the two so that way you can make your earnings from your hard work and your expertise. And in a society of a low trust factor, very low trust factor, a lot more time to build relationships. This is the perfect time for a mompreneur to establish their identity in their local market as an expert with small to medium-sized businesses, because there are a lot of companies that have taken advantage of many customers, and therefore they stop working with them and they stop marketing altogether. So that niche or that strategy really around, I'm local, I understand it, I'm woven within the community. I'm more than happy to get you started with a case study with me at a discounted rate. Here's our roadmap of where this can go from an ad spend, but also my expertise helping you. And let's take it week by week. And having that approach, like you had mentioned, maybe starting it as a side hustle or as a student project for yourself, and then evolving. To your point, maybe you bring on an assistant, maybe you partner with somebody, maybe you expand quickly. It all depends on the pace you want to go and what you know. And I believe that everyone has a chance to really excel fast with what you're doing for your community, but just being curious online, YouTube, Instagram, just there's so much content down there about how to help others promote themselves. So I want to now shift here to the processes and systems you used early on and how they've evolved. Do you mind maybe sharing a little bit of that?
Yeah, sure. So, and that's the thing, as you might set up a system that'll serve you for a while, and then you'll look at it and go, what can we do better here? And you might incorporate some more, zaps, for example, because you figure out, we can automate this process, right? So things will evolve over the time. So you can get started with, a certain system, a certain feature. And as I got started, like whatever, all those years ago, there would be multiple platforms, and it was so hard. I remember when I wanted to create an ebook, and it was like, okay, here's this ebook. Now, how do people actually pay for it, and how do I get it to them, right? There was like, here's this platform and duct tape it over here. So you had so many different platforms and systems, and it was like, oh my gosh. And then you'd end up with all these subscriptions that you weren't using after all. So that has certainly evolved over the years. And so now we're pretty much all just on a high level for all of our, our CRM. We've got memberships and our programs in here. We do have payment processing that's over on Thrivecart because we've just been with them for years. And that's great because you can do, like for me and with the US current working with US clients, I could easily set up, here's a US product, here's a Canadian dollar product, here's an Australian dollar product. So it really made easier, charging there. So we've really scaled back. So we'll use Asana for our project management tool. That's for us internally, for our team and working with clients, where we would go, here's the tasks, here's the deliverables. We would have Slack for communication with our clients. Fun fact, I met the Slack CFO in a bagel shop in New York. So we were in line for like an hour, and at the end of it, what do you do? I'm the CFO at Slack. No yay. So that was super fun. So we use Slack for client communication with our clients, which is much more streamlined than just emails. However, if you're working with a local business, they may not be so technologically savvy. So they may prefer emails. If you can get them to Slack, great. If not, communicate with them where they're at. And then, yeah, high level, which is perfect for like, okay, here's our funnel. If the client wants a funnel, great. We can, very easily replicate, and here's your funnel as well. Our email marketing all through there as well. Our courses are all through there, our calendar integrations and setup. So it's really taken off like, 9 different sort of softwares that we had been using previously, and it's all on one. So it is a great way to be able to streamline effectiveness and just go, here's our one platform for all of it. So, but Asana for project management, Slack for communications, and then high level for all the rest pretty much.
Yeah, and if you're in that early mompreneur journey, maybe some of this is irrelevant to you, right? And I think the most important part is to make a note of it. And we'll include in the description notes how to, get a free trial of high level. We'll give you some information on how to reach out to Jody and her Social Charlie team, because things move pretty quickly as you start to really get passionate about what you're doing. And then as you start getting some results, you really want to start to buckle down a little bit more. And I appreciate you going in depth in your services and what you use, because there are so many different versions of everything. And I think the key takeaway here is you've consolidated to an all-in-one platform. You've made sure that project management internally is crisp, and making sure communication is easy for your internal team and contractors. And you communicate primarily how your customer prefers. So if it's email, it's email. If it's text, it's text. Which right, could be common sense for most those that are experienced. But when you're just jumping in this journey, you don't know what you don't know. So I appreciate you sharing it. When it comes to taking these systems and processes, and you mentioned documenting it, using like a video recording like Loom, and just really honing in on the evergreen version of it, just making sure it's always up to date. So all of these efforts should start showing momentum, right? Maybe you bring on your first beta client. Maybe that first beta client becomes a paying client and then evolves into a higher paying client, or referrals. So let's just fast track here. MOMprenuer started out with a beta, got a bunch of referrals, now has 3 paying clients, has figured out how to collect payments, is collecting payments on an automatic recurring basis based on your advice, on your guidance. And now it's time to now see, where do I go from here? Could you share a little bit about that next level where you got success coming in? How do you start to know when to pivot or when to accelerate?
Oh, that's a great question. When to pivot or when to accelerate? Well, I'd say it would come back to you and look at, is this working with my lifestyle, right? Am I enjoying this? Because at the end of the day, we've got to create a business that we actually enjoy doing. If you're just in there and doing it and you're going, oh, gee, this isn't just for me, then I would say, well, pivot, okay? Look at are there elements here that you do actually enjoy doing? Now, if there are, like, if it's like, I don't like doing the Facebook ads so much, but I love talking to people and I love learning more about people's businesses. So therefore, the sales conversations could be more what you're after. And then, like we were talking about earlier, it's finding someone who can then do the deliverables, who says, I hate the sales conversations. I feel like I have commission breath every time I talk to somebody. I just want to do the tech. So partner up with that person, right? And then that will actually, a good thing about that is that could force you to increase your prices, because this is where a lot of ad managers will come to me. They're charging $500 a month, and they've been charging $500 a month for the last 3 years. And it's like, what's your hourly rate with that? So when you do actually hire somebody or you partner up with somebody, you both need to get paid. So that will help you to go, right, okay, well, we actually now need to charge $2,000 a month so that we can put aside whatever for tax and we can pay ourselves what we need to pay ourselves. So if you look at those things that you don't enjoy so much, then go, okay, this is what I love doing. How can I hire somebody or get somebody on board to help and do these areas that I don't like so much? If you are loving it all, if you go, I love talking to the clients, I love loading up the campaigns, I love looking at all the data and getting the results in, then yes, do more of that. And how can you do more of that? Well, first of all, you can talk to the clients that you're already working with and say, hey, I've got a couple of openings next month. And, I love working with people like yourself, and often find that the best clients come from, people that I'm already working with. So do you have a couple of fellow business owners that you'd be happy to introduce me to? So ask for those referrals. With that as well, that is actually something that you can put into your systems and your onboarding process, right? So you can have an email automation that would be in place after someone has signed up, or after you've sent that first report, or, you've worked with them for 2 weeks and you've knocked the socks off, they've loved the experience. You have that as part of your systems and processes to say, hey, I've got an opening for another client. Would you happen to know anybody? Bake those referrals into your systems. So if you're loving it all, then accelerate, ask for those referrals. With the strategy that I was talking about earlier about helping businesses be visible, I recommend ad managers do that for themselves. And that's what I actually do in one of my programs. You will be your first case study. You will go through and create this for yourself so you can get visible, so that when people do go to your website, when you do network, when you do talk to people, they're going to come back and they go, man, she's turning up in my newsfeed all the time. She knows what she's doing. I want to talk to you. What you're doing there, that's what I want. So be visible. You need to be visible when you're a service provider. And again, that can just come from $1 a day ads. So if you're loving it, pivot, accelerate, go for it, ask for those referrals, get visible. Those areas that you're not liking so much, consider, well, where can I get someone else to do these other things for me so I can just focus on where I'm shining?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I hear the enthusiasm and passion in your voice. And it's when you've done this for so long, you've been through the roller coasters, the ups and downs, the loop-de-loops. You truly know the pain and the happiness that comes from the hard work. And that being said, I believe that for someone that just doesn't know what the end looks like, continue to research, continue to, look and meet people like Jody, people that are there where you want to be. When it comes to the success and building up momentum on there, could you talk about the feeling and the action of being in control of your lifestyle?
Well, there's nothing like it. It's also like, to be able to just go, let's just go down to the Gold Coast, or, that's 2 hours away from me, where it's like, we'll go down there. I can just take my laptop and I can work from there. Being able to, so like I didn't end up going. I was going to go to America, like in the last sort of week or two. There was an event over there. I was like, I want to head over there. I didn't end up getting flights working out. But it was like to be able to just, so I said to my family, I'm going to America next week. And what? So being able to have that flexibility, being able to, we just went to Thailand at the start of last month. We were able to get an amazing deal that was like $300 for 2 people for a week. And I was like, hello, because I've got the flexibility to be able to go, I don't have to ask anyone for any time off. I can go and do this. If I've got to go to the doctors, yeah, I can go to the doctors at like, 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't have to ask the freaking boss for time off. I remember talking to, a lady who was, wanting to get started online. She's my age, in the 50s, and the kids are all grown up and she works, she's got a 9 to 5. And she's going, I don't want to have to ask the doctor for time off, ask the boss for time off to go, to the gynecologist. Right? So is that TMI? I don't know. But it's that kind of thing, right? It's like, you're a grown-ass woman. You want to be able to just have that freedom to be able to go and have coffee with a friend. If your adult child is, on the other side of the country at college or whatever, and they need you, I'm nearly tearing up at this. You can get on a flight and go over and see them. So that flexibility and that freedom is awesome. So I'll stop there before I really cry.
Yeah, you've been through it. You've been through it, Jody. You've seen what
Yeah.
it's like. And
Mm-hmm.
you share what you share from personal experience, and it could be demeaning, it could be embarrassing, it could be frustrating to wait for an answer, depending on if you can
Mhm.
go or not, or do it or not. And I
Mhm.
think, the biggest thing here is obviously to achieve what you've achieved and what others have achieved didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen on its own. It took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of learning and studying and just trial and error. Um, for somebody that is just, how do I say this, is on the fence, that they think this is not for them. Like, this is not for me. Like, this lady's just, obviously she wants to inspire, but this is not for me. Like, how do you know it's not for you?
Yeah, sure. How do you know if it's not for you? If you're not willing to put in some extra hard work, like I know a lot of people will go to their 9 to 5 and they will work hard, right? And it's often more than 9 to 5. Some people may do 12 hours, but they have that paycheck that comes in week after week, right? Month after month. They know what they're getting paid, even though there are no guarantees with a 9 to 5, right? You could be out on your ear in a moment's notice. But it's that taking ownership and going, well, if it is to be, it is up to me, right? And then putting in that hard work. It's like, I want to learn this new skill. It is going to take me, right, extra time in the nights. When I come home from work, I'm going to have to put in 2 or 3 hours to go through a course, to do some learning, to create my own ads and to learn this new skill, right? If you just expect to, like, here's a program and, oh, wow, I'm going to be making $10,000 months in the next 60 months without even lifting a finger, reality check, you need to do the work. And also with that, there are times, like, because I've had a lot of USA clients and I've been in a lot of USA programs, I've had to get up at 3 a.m. for meetings, 5 a.m. for meetings, and whatever. It's doing those things that you haven't done to get what you haven't got, right? So I don't do 3 a.m. meetings anymore, but there was a season where I did, right? And it paid off drastically, right? It's, well worth the investment. So if there is a meeting, like if you are working full time and, for example, you have enrolled in a course and it's a call that they do at 10 a.m. and you can't make it and you go, oh, I can't make it. Watch the replay. Get on there that night. Ask questions in the group. So get the support that's there. Things will be uncomfortable as you are growing for a little bit, right? It will take longer because, like they say, it takes you, when you're learning something new, it can take you 7 times longer than it will when you're efficient at it. So expect that things are going to take longer. Expect you are on a learning curve and you've got to be really willing to roll up your sleeves. If that's the kind of stuff that it's like, oh, wow, that's just too hard, I'll just, choose your hard, right? Do this, get some freedom, determine the income that you want to create, or you do the hard over here of just stick at your 9 to 5 and put up with it. So if that doesn't, if that aligns with you rather than, oh, wow, this is all just too hard, then stick with your 9 to 5, please.
Yes,
Right?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I think, there are people that said, the heck with the 9 to 5. I'm done with it,
Mhm.
because they felt what you felt just a little while ago. So now they cancel the 9 to 5. They're at home. They're just doing what they do at home. Would this be the perfect opportunity to make that new shift and that new exploration path? And if so, what should they be saying to themselves, since they don't have the 9 to 5? They left the 9 to 5 because it was demanding. What should they be saying to themselves to kind of prep themselves on this, them being their own boss and in charge of their own destiny, a
Mhm.
journey?
Yeah. Yep. Well, one of the sayings that I always love is discipline brings freedom. So if you had that discipline of all right, I'm going to just learn this, I'm going to follow the process and I'm going to trust the process, right? Even though you might go, oh, but I don't want to do this, or I don't want to talk to people, or I don't want to, but trust the process, follow it along, get out there and then just start talking to people. If sales and, talking to potential clients isn't something that you've been familiar with in the past, which was the case for me, I wasn't used to sales and sales calls, have a mindset of it's just like, I'm just going to talk to this business because businesses need marketing. They need people to do their Facebook ads, and they want people that they can trust to do their Facebook ads. And like I've spoken to ad managers whose friends have said, why would they hire you when they can go off to an agency? Well, why wouldn't they, right? They might have been done over by agencies in the past, and it's like, we don't want to work with agencies. We want to work with an individual. And that's the beauty of you as a freelancer, making those personal connections. And you never know where these connections, it could be talking to someone at the soccer club, right? So just having those conversations and coming from a place of service, hearing what the needs are for their business, for their marketing, and going, I can help you with that. Right. So you offer this service. So it's not sales. It's yes, I can help you with that. Right. So coming at it from this place of service, knowing that, okay, I'm going to need to put aside a couple of hours at night. Discipline brings freedom. So I'm going in, I'm learning this, I'm following the process. And before you know it, you can have a couple of clients on board and you're well on your way. Right. So yeah.
Amazing. So now, we covered three topics where we can spend hours on each one, and you've been very generous with your time, with the information you've shared through personal experience. I wanted, as we start to wrap up our episode here, I want, if you don't mind, could you speak to the spouse of this future mompreneur who is skeptical about his partner, her partner, wife, jumping into this journey, right? Like maybe some of the negative talk of this is not for you, or these people have tons more experience. Just stay in your lane, or don't waste your time. I'd rather you just do other things, right? Like that type of chatter of not worthy. Could you share some direct talking points to that person to help them have a little bit more of a wider mind to support that mompreneur?
Yeah, look, and that's a great topic there as well, because you will have, and that's what I've had in my communities. You've had your ad managers, your ladies that have come in who have had the complete support of spouses to be able to do that. Others who are like, oh, you're just playing on Facebook. You've just, what's this? You've joined this again now, or whatever that may be. And I mean, that can happen as you're looking for that thing that's going to give you that lifestyle that you're desiring. Chances are you're not going to find it the first time. So that's okay. You're exploring these opportunities. You're going, yep, no, this is not a good fit, but what have I learned from it? Yep, no, this is not a good fit. And then you'll find that sweet spot. This is it. And you'll find when you do that, it's a combination of other things that you've tried in the past. You can bring those things with you to finally find, what this opportunity is, that's that right fit for you. So if you've done that already, if you've been on this journey of like, I've tried this, that doesn't work, I've tried this, or what are they going to say if I try something else? It's all part of our journey, and nothing is wasted when we sort of all put things together. So when it comes to that, and you've got a spouse or partner who's like, oh, you're doing this again, you're going to waste more money on this program or product. I guess it's just having a conversation with them to say, well, look, what this is, this is an actual service where I can support other businesses, because businesses need this kind of help. And you can see here we go. Here's these other sort of agencies. Here's these other trainings. You could look at reviews. You could look at testimonials, for example. And having that conversation and communication where, okay, this is actually going to take some extra learning, and I'm approaching this like I am doing college. So I will be putting aside like a couple of hours a night, and we would just need to, if there's kids around, then have that communication of like, I would just need some help, like, after dinner, if I don't have to do the washing up, for example. If you can put the kids to bed, though, it's always nice to put the kids to bed, read them a quick story, etc. But what is it that you would need help with to be able to put aside those 2 hours a night into your learning, so that you, for one, don't feel, that you don't feel guilty of like, oh, I'm off here doing it, and that it's all been communicated and clear with your partner about, okay, so I'm doing this. We need to, what's the expectations, what needs to change here, and how can you best support me, and how can I fit this all in?
I love it. So if somebody's listening to this, the takeaway is have a serious conversation on this is the path you're on. Explain why. Share that you just need 2 hours a night to have undivided attention and that the support would be amazing. And this is your plan. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is just the conviction and the confirmation that you are going all in on it. And that I think that's what they want to hear too. They want to understand. They don't, I mean, the protectiveness around it is I don't want someone to take advantage of you, or I don't want you to waste your time, or I don't want you to feel like you need to work tons of hours because you could do other things. Just letting them know that this is what you want and that you would want their support.
Yep.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Thank you for opening up my eyes on a handful of things. Thank you for sharing your story. Really, just like I mentioned before, just being open about your journey and what you've been through. And to our audience that would love to connect with Jody, her information will be below in the description. Her socials, her landing page dedicated to the spotlight session, her blog, all that good stuff will be down there. Please reach out. She's more than welcome to have a conversation with you. If you are not a high-level user yet and you would love to learn more about it and then learn how Jody uses it and how to incorporate it in either your early phase or expansion phase, there'll be a link below there. Jody, all things come to an end. I'm sorry we gotta part ways here, but we will be in touch. And it has been an honor just to spend some time with you and learn from you, but also expose your experience and your heart to our community.
Thank you, John. Thanks for this opportunity. I hope I've inspired somebody today, that woman that's off somewhere, but I would never meet her. So thanks for that opportunity. It's been great chatting with you.
Absolutely. Till next time, to our audience, thank you again, and we'll see you and have a great rest of the day. Take care.